Welcome everybody. We are going to call to order the Selectboard meeting for June 9th, and we could open the meeting. All right, here we go. We're on our way. Welcome, Sarah. Good to see you. And we kind of jump forward if you'd like. I know that go to their list. Why don't we go ahead and move forward to visitors, if that's okay?
So sorry.
Well, we have time to be on Broad State Liaison, but he has not joined, and it looks like he's going to be.
Yeah, it's not very, it's also Mr. Flips, 2 months ago.
So we want to refresh this thing. Well,
so I'm pleased to go through today and receiving the email last Friday. Some sort of, part of that I would like to go through. I'd like to start with John for engineering systems for dig into a little bit more logistics. Getting its public first things and making sure it's your grant administration. Hoping to receive. Yeah, maybe shorter here. So, yeah. Since last meeting, the select board is going to move forward with GDB architect's proposal for services. Or when the accessibility level here at the town hall. Using sort of basic shell is available through the state. And the intention to attach the less proposals as well as the actual plan agreement to the so that it can be all information is for and then of course with Sharon and to and the guidance for emphasis doing CTs insurance coverage around the intention here is that we would attach those agreements as well to the contract. So I have here the revised version of the contract, and the only difference from what you saw when your materials you've already received is that I've added those 2 things as attachments to them. We also standing from Cheryl is about we don't get to have the third contractors or from GDB to start because just done. So my request to select board is what this language of this contract and to think about what we will ready to execute that maybe the provision we have. We don't actually so we get the one year information that we need from them, which would include the completion of those 2 forms that we just gave you, as well as making sure that they have they've already registered for studies in Stanford, so they're eligible to receive funding and their students to register and receive funding to as well. And then we need one person to do the reporting to the websites that he's in standing. I'm not sure to the organization. We should have more insurance. So I would change that and bring it to like 2007 to make a read. I did draft contracts so that you could review internal not that long. And they're applying the program, but you will not sure. I'll stop thinking about these terms.
I think, you know, in, previously we were doing, if they were the better of the two options that we saw. I feel like if we are going to move forward, with the project, they would look at the meeting. I mean, do you have any other questions?
No,
No. I don't think it might fit either, but
they seem to be the shortest.
yeah. Yeah, I don't see any issues moving forward. Knowing that, you know, we need the plans. And I think the only thing is the building that is going to be updated, should we wait until we can sign if we're fine with this draft, I mean, we can move to approve this draft, and then once it's updated, do a signature, maybe an electronic signature.
So the language, as you're seeing it right now, I'm holding it right now, that is, updated, so I anticipate any further changes to the documents. I would just now give you your signature to the full box. Once. Here's kind of things. Not change. Unless. You want them to be ready?
I don't know, that we move forward with, CG impacts to, services, engineering services. You find that? You good?
Yeah, no, you can just,
Okay. We're good with that. Yes.
So then, you would be the person. I would keep the guys from the show. Space, and then once I got on board the speed. Your the next step we were achieving is that they would want to what's. So, what we were not seeing, then this is carriage sort of on it's really doing in conjunction with something or one.
An hour.
That's my guess, I don't know exactly which one they're gonna need.
Would it be ideally during the day? You know,
I'm listening that they would be flexible, I understand. So one is the nice, to your law, consistent with one.
I could make time. I think I could hour during the day to do a virtual meeting, and we could hold it like when. What do you think?
yeah, it's even we do.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we either did an evening meeting, or, if we were able to all meet virtually and record the session, I think there's that. If we're all involved, I think we do need to record it.
Are they gonna want? Are they gonna want to like meeting on the enhancement? Virtual meeting, we
Good question.
I have quite a lot.
We're actually needing to be here as far as maybe for this probably really support. Let me get a little bit more information. What we're going to is to task for your community, you're now. Since we're scheduling. That, and then we'll try to do first. Do you all have, this is still like early evening or middle of the day, is there every time, so it's like typically look better?
I mean, Mike and Ken, we don't usually during the day, I have some flexibility, if it's virtual, I can certainly, yeah, you know. But I don't know when it's really good hours. I can be here as early as 5 p.m. If that works.
5 p.m.
I could be here earlier, I mean, I can make it work. I make else good. Yeah. I thought there's so I can do whatever works for you, like. Or maybe that.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's going to be better.
Yeah, I know that's obvious. You're the one who can do that.
You know, we'll reach out and figure out the details moving forward, scheduling. And they did start wrapping up sort of like projects schedule where this morning they're still thinking they're on track. So finish this. So it's the contract piece. The next is providing seeds for financing work. Because we're thinking about funds, we have to consider impacts to historical architecture. We have to do a logical review. Has to be building materials and stuff is required by using the funding. And if you're going to use we talked about this in the past, for the different language facilities for select quotes is 15 and so you've got a project done to the L for you. We have 3 projects that we're trying to are my own bunch of quotes in each of that, 3 quotes in each county. So I'm just going to start with some texture, which you can really get right. And also there's a summary document which describes what these problems right. We don't see that.
Oh, right here, the top page.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's just a style. It's just so the historic architecture here, as I said, we've got 1,600 years, we have 3 quotes. The chain, told to government, the intentions of the works, in way, she's been doing this for decades, and this is so she actually works and she's one of the artists. If you can have a chance to look around, the artists start really very poorly written. There's no information in this report. Yeah, I say this is there are 2. So as I can waiting them, they don't seem to have together. So really is between a person and policy or You can see this more when you're looking at the change down the road. Actually, because isn't some juices here in the state. Changing. Wall. Not actually is the most shooting after we do it as well. Policy governance proposal. It would be a minimum of 5,000, and then consulting would be on top of that. Potentially up to $7,500. I don't anticipate we're going to need to use all of the how much she has suggested of instances. We're looking for like $6,000 more. That's just my guess based on the saves for this project. So I was on the board now, so you say trying to make sure that everybody please list of constituents. Short term, say or sorry, just for trying to say your on your list. If you sit down to audiology, you will get 4,000. Change and $4,300 and okay, already was the mention of that's where they're landing the plus in consultation expenses might be more than 3,000. Probably less, I would say, but the state has confirmed that they're on the eligibility list as well. And then we've got a proposal in the University of Vermont, which is a different grant. And they came in at $340. And that proposal is not with any consultation. So you go through them, you have to do the areas which the reason why you have to do consulting with for example, build some structural practices to expect more then we just want to make sure we're talking to each other so so that's where we stand. So presenting this architecture needs for your project over to them. I was crunching numbers earlier today, and if you went, for example, with policy for historic architecture on that meeting, rather than the moment you're probably looking at saving this $1,000 and that compensation. Seems my so it was really like the lowest combination here. So over here the what of the 10,000? How far above 10,000 do you think they would go? They're not going above 10,000. I mean, any other combination here looks like it could potentially go over 10,000. Potentially, but as I mentioned earlier, I don't think goals that has to be more than it's that. And we don't so that you have to go 3,000 students once but if you went full and you would probably be because an additional $1,000 for all hours of consultation, which is that's just nice. Terminal Thomas Paxton is very limited needs not no, and I think where I generally just have open-ended and open-ended, from a budgetary perspective, from sometimes people just know that so engineers or lawyers or anything, like sometimes if you don't have a cap on it, it's going to provide the best services they can provide for the project. So sometimes
close the budget. And I mean, in this case, you know,
A little bit of the
yeah. Yeah, if you can keep it low, then low, but it's point where we can't finish, we have to go a lot higher, to get us now, and that also. We've got to make sure that we have the built in.
Which is all a possibility of version too, they didn't say any proposal like. If we need more help.
So if that's the case, then if they're all spoken on tonight, and then you with your assessment. On policy and the air.
What I can do is I can draft contracts for, not to exceed unless there's a.
Without fire amendment with the town. Yeah.
There's my price. What is that?
Yeah. I think that would make sense. I think if that's the case, then I would want to see that before we make a determination. Or agreement. But if they could provide us something that she's got, and we can. Set up, if this were to come, but it's not going to be detrimental if we make that decision during next meeting. Nothing.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No. Should be fine.
I don't want to keep it too far down the line,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't read it once. We're not actually know. So my understanding correctly, in favor of the year.
You agree?
Yeah. We're
Great.
really well planned.
And I have the next places, this is listen to the houses. Whereas we, there's one. As well as a hazardous building materials assessment. What that generally is going to look like is contractor will come and do a visit. And something just really go off. So they're gonna have to assess the entire property because of the federal resulting. Treatments, we have against the major trustees, this is what. And they would identify what was your ready for them. So the indicated information. And they would look to that records, is sort of this one to see if maybe there's any contamination. Unlikely in this case, parents, for insurance is we should do. If they wanted to return some, that one would do. Typically, these two install these two investigations. All of this is sort of preemptive, getting ready to apply for any state. Accessibility modification grant actually do the construction work. But in order to do the construction work, the state is saying, have you finished your ground? Have you finished your that's one for all this building towards. So you feel it's you never reach it again until you actually do your see. And the other piece about the hazardous building material that we're actually hold on the same so the result of showing various street holes, it takes as it's one of the four things we take over the stairs. Yeah. And then we'll discuss with likely that is a significant problem with most of those like maybe but this is a pretty old meeting. So you're gonna done one thing.
Yeah, they did it. They did the renovations and hanging together, so.
Actually. It would be great. Whoever has one is a big problem. Okay. Yeah. So for the choices, sort of like bottom of services, we want to do all of that. And we create the rules. Individually budgeted $2,400 because it wasn't sure how much salary we needed. So those have come in well under the match. That is what I personally wish to each of these companies and seats of things. The region, the one of that that's not as familiar to me is done with she and they're review on so they are spit down. But in terms of the quality, it's actually it's not it's pretty much the same quality when we go. So I would suggest going with the lowest thing, unless you felt something with the proposals that were your own way or your experience that you also for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll go with the 7,000 for the WHEM. Yeah. I think well, but it's hard if you remember you're not going to write this to production and more wanting to see there is also, like I mentioned, how we do the phase one round and then it's a team to phase two. Sometimes we do this about if that's the case, something fun. The products in the budget to pay for that, you just don't know if that costs you immediately. You just don't see them, it's all like, I'm wondering, that's state grants or something.
Is there any other one?
They might have, you might have thought you would be,
Maybe before the training.
yeah.
Nothing.
On city of whatever. They changed from. Yeah, great. You can see what I'm talking about finance because that it's less work. Great. So we have decisions for reform. Well, secret infrastructure media, radiology, WHEM for toxics. My task then is to draft contact language for each of those folks and then bring it to you for the next meeting. Which would include not to exceed this amount, what's amended. Yes. And meet. Thank you. I'm just going to so the first is so number was friend, anything you get a signature that's really close to the town's when the town's and there's no documentation that goes with the start as it's used to but I'm going to provide that on rather which is standard procedure same and so what that means is that we have to be tracking the time board members doing this work, that share this fund doing this work, and agencies doing this work. Because at the end of the monetize, and it's out of the time. I think that's where we could be. So
I'm wondering whether I'm changing my best guesses, like based on the time and expense, it's like one meeting that we're trying to track for you. But last meeting, we got together to do the contract for the proposals from the future funds. I'll just put down like these I want for like before the meeting, so I'll just make sure the county.
I think that from the last meeting, I probably spent a half an hour before that, my.
Yeah.
We. I have to be on the phone. Yeah.
And was it the chance to report to things?
No, I think we have recent conversation about several grants that we have outstanding on a special meeting, and but none of this was covered because I think we felt like you're so big.
Yeah.
Important.
Okay. Sounds good. So I would get for that, and then we also for more directly to answer usually your time. And I did send you all like an Excel tracking spreadsheet, which we still bring to keep track of that if that's easier for you, or I can just keep asking you. I don't know what's more sense for you.
It's actually straight.
Sure.
Excel sheet, yeah.
Okay, so that's a sort of income trending piece of it. Nancy did get a hold of me late last week saying, hey, we're not trying to bank accounts. Grant. Typically, in this instance, we need to open a dedicated bank account. We drop the names or they have 10 days to have no interest. Unfortunately, all the work that Nancy did is like set an account that was my phones that didn't need to have money in it to keep it in red wasn't going to accrue interest. They closed the account despite the nice experiences, but like they were going to keep it open, even some money in it. So we've got to figure out
What bank was this giving?
It's the same situation that we're having. So I'm going to try to figure them directly and say, this is fine.
Yeah.
How about the March?
It's good. I think, had another, man, and I felt this evening, and that is where we bank as a town.
Yeah.
I think that we're in a position right now where we need to figure out like what's the best option for us, because we do see that we've had some barriers to, success and, we've seen it with Harbor and we've seen it with, Pascoma. And we have like shot of White River. What's that?
We're gonna get going.
Yeah, and then you're merging to, you guys go back into this opportunity now, and maybe get in and get maybe having that as our one location. I think printing is a little more flexible when we need to ask for these additional things. Sometimes they require $5 to hold it. If you have to put $5, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of making sure that we're able to work with that in general.
So it's like down like $5 to 0 cents because you always have to fight.
Yeah, you're right. That's great.
So
And then,
so basically that 0
yeah,
cents.
yeah, you just plan out 5 of that because it's so small. It's not anything that's a big deal, but I think very little need large of them, some other accounts, some other people, then that's just something to be able to do.
My understanding from the state is that it needs to be zero.
Sure. Okay.
It's fun. Making sure you're in the state and see if there's any possibility, but let me know when the outcome is your decision is gonna change.
Yeah, then you make up into it. Yeah, I think the only reason that, and two, if we have another account and we're just open like a holding account. Just like we do, and we've got minimum, you know, but it's something we need to look at.
Balance like one.
Those are only up to slides. Oh, yeah. Well, one of them, she said they wanted. Yeah, it'd be long. Gonna be using. Yeah, yeah.
I remember we're having discussions with not just
Bullshit. To do. I had to meet with Nancy just to find out like the latest from her and she right saying. You know, I got a few other things I need to talk a little to, you know, and then I think we should go to the state. Because we can't be the only town in the state of Vermont, it's just like a town versus we're in the other towns to do the same issue. Just how's it? No.
once, why don't Cheryl or Kelly, why don't you get a hold of me and go and it's for a time for me to try to figure out this issue. I'll have a great day.
Yeah. I think there's some things happening with the account, it's just a matter of, you know, providing that as an opportunity to get money and it really shouldn't be an obstacle. No, it shouldn't be. I hope it's.
Right, so the last piece of this year is requisition. So this is how I'm getting to, and I have problems, states from, to, right now, states lots of down to advance funding to the town. Normally, the way this works is the town pays, and some bankers, things that you used to recognizing that this is the town with a cash flow, the state's like, all right, I'm going to use some state invoices, we'll some big money from the, you know, it's how it's going well. Now, the thing to keep in mind about the state's realization payments is in products, yeah, which we need to be aware of. Which means we really, you know, if we get any invoices, we gather them up, we submit them by 2020. And the money we land in your account will and I'm hoping that because we're just at the beginning of contracting, there's not going to be budgeted accumulate. Well, it's just because we start, which should be having to prepare seriousness.
I don't know if we'll have, I mean, I don't believe we'll have any. I don't know the contracts that we're gonna have that are due between now and then. I mean, it seems like a long time off, but it's not that. So, I think anything we get under rigor after we get anything, you know. I don't see that being a barrier. I think that we, if we were to sign anything and get anything wrong right now, I don't foresee us having anything from there. You know, bill before mid-July at the earliest, I mean, most of them are going to approve. Some of these items to look at that stuff before the next. Select-board meeting, that's. Right. Yeah. Second of July. Yeah.
Because I have to know what we do for the rest, for the needs and performance. I know there's much trainers.
We don't have the bells on the. Thing tonight. Don't have for keys. You know, we're gonna.
I hope they do like me. Oh, no, it did, July 15th, right, you're right. Just looking at my calendar, but I got one day before sort of, oh, I need to. Like.
July 14th. Okay. It's possible we talk about it.
Yeah.
Having that involved meeting. Trying to be able to it's just.
Okay.
All of them. Right, it's given to you now.
Great, and thank you for that. We can see all your help. Yeah, always looking for. It's good. We just have so many moving targets that.
Oh, my
we didn't
goodness.
really have so many, like, I had to. Well, we're back, maybe we're mixing the. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, yeah, yellows.
Yeah. That's what somebody was joining. Some homemade or trying.
So. To go through, no problem with this. Where like. One's reaching out opportunities. Because we're. You know, transportation is healthy to the environment. It's just it's very complex environment. Part of it is reaching out to our dots to get it, but we're like, what are we is we do just one of the future is told like energy food campaign. Very early days. Over to the nice to bring was needed. So from over just brain tree where and we don't know where to be. We think it might be a nice like we're dinner and we get some residents out and get us to space and future of the flag and make sure that we don't lose our information, but we would want to have some there as possible so that because that's valuable information to as you're making. So just wanted to pass that you this might see or feels it. You get a little bit big. So kind of like one, yeah. Already had a chicken hand. So
I think it's anything that we can do that would help us align with our neighboring towns, I think is helpful. I think oftentimes, I mean, I think people already like work on this, work here, we're on the road, and we got to figure it out, you know, and we don't have enough people really enough, I would say input to do anything other than, I mean, for example, we can, you know, follow up on the transportation survey that we did and find the input, and we had some great input at the beginning of the survey, but when it actually comes down to executing on things, I think people hold back, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for that, you know, and so they don't really want to get involved, and so then we kind of feel like, well, are we spinning our wheels even, you know, putting our time and energy into this, and I don't want to feel that way. I want people to think that we're actually doing, you know, taking these strides to do more for our town and make it more child friendly and people friendly and finding ways through the transportation survey to make it so that we can have fun plans or something, you know, that people will use. But it's kind of like, you know, chicken and egg, like if we do it, will anybody use it? Is it beneficial? So you always need to ask those questions. But yeah, I think those are the things that it's like, if we're doing it and Hancock's doing it and Rochester's doing it, well, how can we work together so to have a bigger impact instead of trying to do it on our own and just have a little footprint with it, you know? So I do think it's important for us to do more, and I think we need to open up those conversations about a lot of what we do, whether it be our emergency services, which I know is already underway with our emergency service departments, but also you know, other things. It's hard. Yeah, I do get it. He's like, yeah. No, but she's kind of.
Because the answer one. Well, yeah. Good. We're starting the first show issue, all those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Get it.
She the months to live down there.
Well, they- Well, it's important, you know, because we're, you know, three small towns, you know, and then we bring Brandon into the next too, look at East Granville, and that's also, it's a good way for us to bring together East Granville. But
They are us.
they are. I have
Don't
also,
have to murder them.
that's right. You know, they are, so, you know, it's a representation because they're a person from us dealing with what Branson design. It's not necessarily we just say, because, you know, we're just kind of.
Yes, more details for all these points.
And they should go to use
They are.
next. Basically. So back to our, letting our workshop communications and comments. Public communications with all. You don't
Money that came out of the transportation capital fund, what was spent, once you get it back. It's like $40,000 or so, but it's
Right, I will look into that, I know that a couple of years ago, we did around 25,000, I think with that. It looks like it's exceeded that, maybe it looks like we have to build out of it, but we're supposed to come out of it, but I don't think so.
I think last numbers out, we were, this year was about 130,000. Highway capital. And still quite a bit of money left in highway funding commission.
Yes,
So it wasn't like it was spent on highway stuff.
that's right. I want to spend because we have the cash, the cuts are called, but it wasn't supposed to exceed the 25, and we do need to detail the current. Still requesting. And I see.
And that money will go back in to the highway capital fund.
We're supposed to check in the fiscal year where it was, you know, upon collection of tax revenue.
I thought our collection of tax was pretty good. The last Nancy said that we were, the last payments came in pretty well. No, they did not. Okay.
We were 180,000.
What?
Sure.
Not expecting lots of like chicken. Right, easy, simple problem.
This is the one year. That I.
At least I finally got money.
What, this, took this one for years. What, do we have any details on why, on what's causing shortfall? Is it, like meetings now?
Yeah, we're into delinquency.
And what delinquencies now than possible?
Yeah, around 129,000.
Okay.
Great.
Yes.
That she closed the tax sheet and that's what we ended up with doing.
That's up.
Consider it, and it's the high taxes. New people taking ownership midterm, not realizing that they have to pay. Various issues. Yeah. So we're sure.
Any other public comments? You're public now. All right. So the point, minutes, do we have a few minutes here?
And just to Good comments, comment, whatever, you can probably get some. Now that we're doing a lot of the WebEx stuff, maybe you should know when people are hearing via WebEx.
We could do that, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad, or maybe back and say,
Yeah, well, those things, yeah.
if it can be a problem down the road, so.
I don't know the movie, but it would be easy to have it. I think we could choose
Right.
BSC, garbage, we can get a year person.
Well, yeah.
He did his song, I think, whether he did it, but we knew Sarah for years. Last thing we knew Sarah was gonna be,
That's one of the links, it's only a period.
Oh, yeah,
For instance,
understood.
like Catherine appeared, this visible, she, yeah, my back's about it.
She would be aware, yeah, I.
No, just young, just.
Yes. Yeah, public participation. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's. The link, yes. And if you call in or go on the link, it will come up and say that they're here. And we haven't had anybody join, so we don't have anybody trying to come in the meeting. The last round, we had the kind of microphone thing that was not taking well, so we wouldn't stay on that microphone, or what the issue was. So we got this little rerun thing that was too wrong.
Yeah, got it, and we're online to find out.
That's. You don't have to download it, you just, you go online, and it just takes you to the web link. And you can go in and that's right. Or you can dial in and use that, so we'll have a meeting.
Yep.
And we can just go in with you, your phone or your landline.
Right.
I'm gonna use reference this one.
Yeah, right. It was one of the first ones to go, it was screening, it was a little bit less expensive than us. Either upgrading the Microsoft Teams team, Teams is a little bit less friendly on comments. And Zoom was a little bit more expensive, so we should. Gonna jump in on one of them, so. I think for Maryland, anybody on.
You can record it, compress it, and
Yeah, and you can do a lot of the other YouTube page now. If I'm posting everything out of you. Yeah, and then you can come see how, like, big, so that YouTube. Movements.
not even person. This is the story of the Wi-Fi.
Yes, those are just talking.
No, it's not that, it's because of different name. Yeah. The TP link or the GAT?
I can call them.
Yeah, TP link, 2.4 data notes is the one where it's supposed to be.
It had about a specific leg up and down,
Yeah.
which
Give me a 5,
is that,
so it looks like I'm showing up. Let's see.
yeah, I mean, I have to see the leg up is there. That's not going, it's just doing.
Wi-Fi. Is this one supposed to be, so that people should follow in?
Your booster, put in, when the pandemic, I guess.
Microphone. Yeah.
But that's supposed to be a booster that we have to get a real good.
As a little Wi-Fi, maybe that's downstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wi-Fi that's in the basement,
yeah.
one line, this one over here, and I'm getting.
Yeah, in here, it's really strong. It's just a matter of like getting it out and working it out.
It's from right here.
It's not.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I know people who have to line to do the ours.
Yes. Yes.
In here, yeah, they come in here, where they'll have a family. Okay, nice. Yeah. We, like, you know, we have the movies over at the schoolhouse. We could do an outdoor movie tonight. Should go in terms. We're gonna make a big white building out there. Yes, yeah, it's right there. All right, minutes. So. I got a chance to review all this, you get a chance to review all this online.
No.
You wanna take a moment to review?
I would. Yeah, we can.
Maybe know in the future, the marks now to, we can identify if somebody joined your WebEx, or if they appeared in person. Sometimes they look with all the way they are.
Yeah.
To, approve, the May 12th. May 20th, there's June 4th, for the meeting minutes. No bigger. Controls. Or. We talked at those in draft, silence. Moderates. So. I don't think we're prepared to have a camera meeting discussion. I would like to. Propose. Mike's not here, but Ken, I was thinking about sitting down and having. One-on-one meeting. Nancy, so that I can wrap my head around better what she's doing. I've got her, we've engaged somebody to work with her and did not yet put up time with that person, so I'm gonna make sure that she gets time set up with that person to help. But I think beyond that, I wanna make sure that she has time and ability to continue. Doing the books, so I just wanna make sure that she has the support from needs and that she's able to advocate if she has anything. Going on, because I do think there's a lot of stuff moving right now, and, she might be struggling.
Yeah. The team figure out the chicken, I'll figure it out this.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
And if we're doing accounts, just make sure that we've got, a bank, for it's anything that we need going through, or we're seeing, which. For Harbor Bank for a while. And we came for Harbor Bank. So. We can talk about how process. In the past. This is
Table that, no, this,
yeah, we'll see what, I don't have any further information, I just the material and. So I don't have anything further. Yeah. Homeward bound contract. And it's been the signature. Yeah, they're moving, they've sent it in, it's a flat. $500 fee. No limit on dogs that are coming over there, either by animal control officer or citizen. Fee, it's just flat, $500. I know, last year.
a lot of money.
Yeah, last year, no dogs.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
have, in the past, happened times over?
Well, years because we had a agreement at one point, all it's still went down, we thought we had. There.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't said no, he hasn't said they can't do that.
All right.
Right, so, but. Thing is, even if you take it, you don't want to hold for so long. It may, then,
He plays.
I think he plays.
Yeah, he has fosters and he has a couple of rescues that he works
Right,
with.
right.
And I don't think that they charge him that they extend the shelter. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not okay. Working on. I think.
I don't,
That's-
if they were to extend anybody from Granville who doesn't care for the dog, wants to surrender the dog, then I would say yes, but this is protect the dog. If it's something that we do on a regular basis, then I don't see the need to pay it. You don't-
Here's some, well, no, that's why this is double the contract. Anybody's been on the whole thing,
Yes.
wouldn't have to be.
It just said straight up.
Yeah.
Probably by citizens. Yeah, but it's really one of the community, they're not all because we couldn't take care of their dog, they got, they wouldn't take it was stray. They wouldn't take them. They wouldn't take them, they'd have to pay to surrender. Which is where I would say, if they would agree to take. Say yes, but if they're not, then
Well, I'm trying to understand that. I know what that would stay dog. Surrender that, so.
you can bring it back.
It's all. Trouble.
Yep. And we'll come back. Jesse would like that. Yeah, I don't see. We just don't have enough, I think we just don't have strays.
Stuff. They're not. That's really.
Yes. But more uses in the. Yeah. I think they're generally more types than out, so.
I mean, it's. First of all, the thing is. The budget, when the animal draw budget going, I'm going.
Yeah.
That usually what the other draws, so it's not. I don't want money going.
Yeah, I don't,
I think that's pretty good overspending.
yeah, I don't see a need, I don't see a need to do it. You don't see a need.
But you don't have any other control, yeah,
No.
so. From how many people are calling there.
The only reason I want the animal control is I don't want to go from the other department.
And 9 out of 10 star on the property, that's.
Oh, no. They don't sell over the years, because people want to do that at all.
Yeah, is, which that I can be called, I guess is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, the state police, yeah, officers. They do, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, they do.
I used to, do it as a. More, one of the structures and stuff.
So you want to, yeah, I think at this point, we're gonna pass.
Haven't done it.
Yeah.
It's quite each other. Yeah, probably. But without a contract, and then we would just. Sure.
Yeah, right. I wonder though, I mean. If there was a donation, instead of tax dollars, you know, if there was a donation process where we had people that would want to donate. And then that would, make sure that they'd allow anybody who to surrender an animal that makes. Oh, wait, I don't. The chance to just me.
But it's going to be a problem, not make it so that.
No, now you gotta, you, Yeah.
And I need to get it. Yes.
Do you want us to get rid of it? I was trying to determine. And you gotta leave the meeting.
It is a galaxy, but make sure you have it on first.
Yes, you all want my son, the one.
Probably on your phone, if you're on a desktop, you can do it whenever. You're able to- Yeah. Are you staying on? Trying to go.
Live. They don't want that to first one.
Open Sandra review. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I mean, it's different film, I don't have that. So. Yeah, so yeah, there's the first sheet is the language change. So you know where they are. And then, yeah, I would probably do it. For local another mitigation plan. We have that received money yet. And then everything else. We are how it started from.
So. They have a meeting, they back and forth to read it today and have a meeting. So that would be another, right, I think it's better than our first, yeah. Not there, it's one of the other one.
Well, this is like one thing I want to be in on here is. Maybe prioritizing some of these, and I think I'm new, so I'm just coming up to speed to say like, what's my priority, what's my priority, and I think that's what I asked you. I think we have a lot of, beneficial work we could be doing with Brian, but I also see that we spent a lot of time and energy on the transportation stuff, and I don't know how far we're gonna get with that. But then I wonder, are we just planning to spend money for a plan? If we can't execute on it, especially all those activities and put more time and energy into things that we truly can make happen. You know what I mean? Yeah, because see, when you got done your meeting, he's looking at your thoughts. Yeah. There is no transportation project yet to apply on grant. That's right. So we're just spending money to create a plan. Right. Yeah. So why did you? That's right. And I think if we truly want to assess whether or not we can apply for a grant to remediate accessibility to upgrade our. It makes more sense to me. You know, you control of the space, we have control, not just us, but we can actually, once we have all the plans in place, we can do the next step until we have all that stuff done. So that to me is a tangible plan. Yeah. The transportation to it is a little bit intangible. So I think that's some work that I want to go through and start looking at, and I think from the business side of things, maybe between now and the next meeting, I think we go through just kind of prioritize some of these and implement sense, and I want to do that. Maybe Bruce, if we could loop you in, just to see like what's outstanding that we can use beyond information, and what's best use of our time and energy. Like, I know we have to do like floodplain update, so with I know we need to dedicate time to the project to follow. Yeah, it's fine, we have to have those done by either to be, so that's like, you're typewriter, you read it, and should drop, but drop dead house, otherwise you're gonna reschedule. We're very, restart. Those are the things that like coming in, I was, oh my God, this is a very lean timeline. Where other things I felt like we had a lot to do, but then when I look at it, I'm like, what are we really doing, you know? So we probably should dig in and priority to do so, figure out what's the purpose is. Yeah, so road projects, those were really something, yeah, those specific. Yeah. And then, and if those are, if that's the case, then that's great, and then that's just a matter of like, let's figure out, because you said we've got them lined up by worst to best. So first to last, right, and then we're going through, and then we can say on top of like, where are we at, where are we gonna have a shortfall? Because I think my concern is, are we gonna hit a point where we're gonna have to come up with streams because we on a project And I want to make sure we stay ahead of it, and I think we do, but I'm now like responsible for some of it, so. Maybe I'm gonna make a bad decision. Right.
Yeah, the only project.
Yes, yes.
Well, the road is usually the bid amounts exceed the grant.
Right.
So if it can almost that money match for the grant amount, plus per usually, right?
Yeah, right, but that comes from our budget, so that, okay, we got two cars requested meeting to. Come out and say,
Right.
Why is the energy really on? Pretty loud.
that has, federal funds in it, and the data we want, as well, budget, and something like that. We don't know where, but they say, they haven't positive yet, they haven't told us to move forward. So that's why we're only doing, ADA problem. And if we do anything on the CDBG project, it won't be actual construction, it'll be in preparation to move forward.
Because that was to upgrade furnace and boiler machine.
Yeah,
All that stuff we could definitely do to.
but a lot of stuff too that you guys didn't want to do, you didn't want to. Build premises in here. You didn't want a solar array.
Honestly, one of the problems, well, not that they were, saying, but we didn't have it, still, see, we didn't necessarily want to put panels in the fields, but it's on hold though, just because of the money, not because the
Right.
That's fair. I think that, my understanding is that we started the process of. Well, in fact, was it Kyle? Who was it that was talking to us about it? Somebody brought up that we before had discussed, maybe it was Brian. Potential upgrades. I can't remember. But, we would have to look and see what would make sense.
well, the other two pictures do this whole building, I mean, you need insulation, there's a lot, we got the envelope now, the room for the speed, all the windows are all done. But there's still a lot of internal things that prices are local.
So if it would be upgraded to reduce the use of oil.
The lower end, and we're continuing.
Maybe do like, area focus heating and cooling, like putting in.
Big problems.
In order to turn down.
Yeah. Lower income. Three. You add some county. But, there's so many different organizations down there that have a model that, it's really amazing, and the people that are doing. It should do what because it's line that's there, and who knows what's gonna happen. But we're on hold for.
We're on, yeah, and keep Winston, Sarah and that Two Rivers when we go. That will let us move forward. Then we're having this issue, right?
We got to find out. I think that the next meeting having a good priority list, we say like there's top priority, and second. Priority. Is there anything that we need to eliminate from our list? Because we're not going to move forward with that. Yeah, anything new we want to adopt in the new fiscal year. Is there anything else out there that we want to say? I know we get emails all the time now of all these different things going on. Like what can we get in on, and I want to make sure that we don't miss the opportunities at the same time. If it's just noise, I don't want to get too much money to it. So, I think that's important. And then that's on grant.
No, we gotta advertise that. $20 or.
Mhm. We've got, we had better, but. Yeah, it's better, right, roads. I think it's for, not just for your activity. So we need to post the list. So we have for, the, yeah.
It has to be completed by next week.
Yeah. Fiscal year or county.
Well, this year it's gonna start.
I come from. Little field. I know how well you see that advertising. No,
But that's not how. But road has to be done in the street by the store. Yeah, the power has to be done by. That's this is it.
Okay. So when do we have to open up? Next year. Next year. That's really good.
we can talk. This summer. Getting that done for the fall. Oh,
What do we have money to do that? We're under the impression that we got the money to do that.
yeah, I know the impression, we already have the grant. So that one, like, other one. But if we just apply for the one that I still feel created the job for. There's one in between ten and 12. That is looking very money.
So we had to- we'll find your first. Have we heard anything on any further interest in, the two individuals who want to look on the planning commission? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the no, further, the roles. You know, the pages groups, so. I'm not going to go through. With every count, so I'm actually. That's a cool. Anybody have a color? No, I just lived at the house. Everyone around here just so. 2 years.
I can tell if we can't go into law, but. But usually.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, it's here, quick.
You can all.
Yeah.
That's the one you.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
That's what that.
yeah.
That's the zero. More version, well, that replacement is awesome. Or I actually. Obviously, you bring up that one.
Yes. Yeah. 10 year. Here goes the last. 3 year lease.
I don't know, but that's how they go. It's good, I've got it. Just my house, I don't have. Some. You go through the soul.
Oh, it's not so.
Or it's just that.
Yes, probably is really slow too.
It's just how that is.
Right.
I'm still getting up. Well, yeah.
No. Yes, become delinquent at the end of the fiscal year. Is that when the bill is comes or, and I wonder, like the May, when they don't pay what when they don't put that in, that's sort of doing well until they don't. Yeah, but if somebody looks like their August payment, August or September, there's one of August, November, February. And if they miss that, they're not delinquent until they don't pay the payment. They only pay the penalty until that. But if they're delinquent and until it's paid, we're accruing interest. Okay. From the interest goes to the town. But I noticed that somebody was, auditing, and somebody was supposed to cut up, but they're still delinquent. So I feel like they just start continually like struggling a little bit. Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's a way to, there's no way to like help and. No, it's not the way they have the system changed.
First payment, it's better than you.
Yeah, right.
And if it's not paid in July, May 17th or whatever, then it's 100% penalty right away.
Yep. Plus, yeah.
The penalty can be adjusted by the tax, the delinquent tax.
No,
Probably
the system automatically hits you 8%.
what happened. The interest is not negotiable either. The interest goes to the town, penalty goes to the tax. I thought she could. Shift that around.
Do we have no, she has it way where you might.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
You were still on. Believe me.
It's just, as long as somebody makes a payment though, they stay in favor or. As long as it should, as long as you're making some sort of payment, even if it's fine. So as long as you're making a payment or you can, as long as you're communicating with her. She'll like it, right. But if you're more than a year or 2 years, she can go to an attorney now and hire them to issue the warrant. Yeah. To later. Do we have anybody with that point? Yes. Yes.
And a tax sale is not automatically triggered.
Right.
Some people could be delinquent for years without a tax sale.
Right.
Where other persons is for a year or another tax sale.
Just they are communicating there.
It's not in regards to like the way the tax sale is going to take place. Just sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, I mean, is it? I just want to make sure that there's resources or some kind of, a check-in process. And I know I'm doing it because I wouldn't mind having to use them.
That, the light taxes are a public record,
Yeah,
and anybody can get a copy of who's delinquent and how much. And how long.
yeah,
So it's not something that has to be discussed in private. or
Yeah.
anything.
yeah. I'm thinking like if there's, I don't know, if there's an action in your that wants to help, like ask questions if they struggle with their mental health and like.
Yeah, just. So, right, maybe churches, what might help, like, I don't know, right now, the offices actually will help bail out people and from the causes of this disease or something.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because during COVID, behaviors, where they help low income people. You either apply, you go processes, but they. For you. So we haven't realized the program is ended. So now,
And now them, something to give them.
But, I mean, so, do we have people actively filing their homestead tax declarations to get the?
we promote, we remind people, and some people. People say, we all file, but still. They're gonna claim it, so it is on, we explain it wrong, but it's on them, we can't.
So these are just all tax receipts,
Those are,
these are all on tax receipts,
those are,
or they going?
no, those are not receipts for property tax. Change receipt either current or delinquent. But because of the all process. Keeps everything. Including envelopes. But it's, people are paid.
So is all that stuff being done through Nemrick now rather than through the pencil and paper?
Yes.
It's all being done.
Yeah. Now, forever is the delinquent tax board. One of the requirements of the auditors was just one that
The bottom's Nemrick.
stop the one at home and do it all here.
But she's still keeping written.
Yes. And she does that for her own. Family, I guess, so that she knows what to pay herself.
Right. I assume that everybody's,
No,
this is just what you're seeing with this room or what?
yes,
Why not, nurse? Why not the fee? I don't have any questions on it, I mean, it's helpful to have this for the audit, first. Because you can look, you may know, we did have, we were able to find a couple of anomalies last time because she had it noted, but there's no, notes and we go through and see what happens. So one person who's just making good regular payments, but we kind of dug in to make sure that we had everything credited for the year.
My understanding is that if you do it all through Nemrick, it automatically does it.
Sure, yeah. Then I think too, it might be, like I said, I want to sit down with Nancy and go through processes to see what she's doing. If it makes sense, then maybe it makes more sense to get these printed out, once you get a comfort level with that. That you duplicate effort, if it doesn't, then it's still a good backup to look at, because it just makes another. In line of a couple of projects.
And this is an important month because we already have everything just ends. So when the following week, you gotta sit down and figure out what the tax rate for next year is. So, invoicing or whatever that, what must you pay by June 30th goes into next year.
Yeah.
Didn't see invoices from my cell phone.
Highway,
Highway order. It's where. It's been a pile of stuff like. Or. We have. This one, okay, put this all back to. This is how it was, and it was. Okay. See what that is? Not another order. Hold on, here we go, all right, here it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
see?
Big. Yeah, cheers, cheese, not too much stuff. Wow, too much.
And really, I guess this is the last financials before the end of the year, because
Yes,
it's not another meeting.
right,
So anything that comes on starting tomorrow goes on to next year.
unless we call it special.
It's not a big deal because it happens like that every.
We already have another special meeting coming. Yeah, but you don't, we don't want to be reading with this, so, no. But if we had to sign something, you should all be.
The next meeting, is not
Maybe I should just place that or something. If it's a deadline, just stay on it. This was now they're. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, it's- we actually were- I feel so, it's like, small words. So, we're there.
Some places.
You know what? They're just not as good as one of the just. They had a garage. Well. All the way there.
next meeting is July 14th. When you gotta have the tax rate. That's the main thing on that meeting. So, usually I work with Cheryl. Yeah, before that, get a draft and make sure you understand what's going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I made my eyes everything and see them.
Yeah, as long as they have to watch, I will be treating them, But I think we've been doing it for the last few years, it's been working pretty well. Some people think you gotta have the exact dollar. But, it's the best guess of what we're gonna,
Yeah.
what we're gonna need.
Yeah. Did you sell that one? I haven't seen everything, no. Never come, I haven't heard from.
No, female.
No. We invite you to.
I'll follow up,
No. He gave me a phone. And, told me. What's kind of his, his concerns with being things like, so qualified, and he said, great. Yeah, so he was fine, yeah.
Said he was submitted an invoice either, right?
No.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we had, we had addressed that in the, on the audit side, if we wanted to see it every month. So you have to find out the agreement each month, we have something to back up what the payment is for. I think that one, there's just nothing on owners. With no agreement and
Right.
it kind of slipped through everybody, everybody's view. And it's just to bring it up, but even send a nice up to him too, it was a honest mistake, it was a conditional. You just want to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There we go, we'll order back all the stuff back and runs there, yeah, all right, everyone will do. Yes, everything is on. Focus on the.
But it says like that training coming up, no, it's actually just school ends up, I don't think the training course I got more, like, online I'm doing in the middle of that, but that has to be done before I go to 2 day. Yeah.
You can use it? Yeah, you can use it.
No. In fact, I'm pretty sure this year we did. No, I think the radar, this year.
Yeah, it was a very nice. Good dance. I don't slow down. Uses that's on fire. Do you have the ones that shoot thing?
I have the, yes, I have all, so they have it. I like Zoom too, they have another name, it's a Falcon student. I wore it 2 years ago, and volunteered, and I'm certified as instructor.
Oh,
I'm still getting pressure,
yeah,
and because I was here to get it.
yeah.
Shoot.
Like a, yeah.
Still got, security is,
Yeah.
You see how border gets all that out in county. Those three.
It's not. That's not really to add to that.
Yeah. Yeah, the country was love. The sheriff department has them though, they've got. The Two Rivers annual meeting is coming up the end of this month, it's only.
Will share for transportation advisory.
I am now.
The constable from the chair for transportation.
Well, it's just the Two Rivers transportation committee, so, that's just for our region, so it's. Well, it's just for the Two Rivers, it's not state. It's just for Two Rivers. I was vice chair for. So,
All the town, right? It's all over that, right?
right, yeah, so I mean, we meet ever so quickly. Between Two Rivers. Even miles on that is. And also. I think it's the vice chair of the. I'm also the vice chair of the regional emergency management committee. So, anyway, that's that meeting. Right, I guess for a question, we were talking about the money for the fiscal year being spent. Me and just Cheryl were talking about this, the radar trailer, which I was, the answers. We replaced a couple of the. Like a drink of shots, not shot. Anyway, I had to replace all those, which I did before. Cleaning it right now, it's actually a primary clean all our shot. It's. Soon like this getting all. I didn't have enough for the joy and release. But it's not sure, there's money in my account still, but everything would be too close. It says like $700. The batteries were dead when I got. Which has never happened before. Yeah, I did look them over and the fluids down, way down, so I added them just to. They seem to charge, but I don't know if they're gonna hold up on New Year or not, and they are only 6 years old. But I thought if there's money there, I could replace them now.
What's the better to do?
They're each cycle batteries, but I think I just determined they need so.
No, they're half size.
Well, no, there's no side of battery,
No.
and I think it's got. How many holes in the top of there? 6. That's just not a really good. And I went to scan the butler into to buy it, it's just you know 6 gold. Anyway, there's 4.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, this is where we were talking about our transportation grant plan, this is where we were talking about potentially looking for funding to get more of them.
Right, and talking about pronouns.
Yes.
Great, those are nice.
Yes.
Are they, what, are they trying on the top? You know, well, it's not, no, it's on the three general, so. I wonder if you buy it was like a truck thing, well, it looked like understanding, with the exception of, right, other next students on one, probably. That tells you. Yeah, still, I mean, I think it's sort of, there's like a goal on top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
yeah, and there's the interstate, it's reasonable price.
Right, that's good. That's-
Yeah.
Well, that gives me a battery number, so what I, this is, you can know how it's there, you can take them for more. We got to show probably wishes is that.
Then the concept, you might get money from the year.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still from there, but the thing is, whether it's, I guess whether it's like.
Yeah,
I think I kind of planned for the next year budget anyway, because, and one of my, I think right now it's now hateful. You're only paying that share. Everything else. They charge something in working for, well, that's not really. You know, but it's being really, no. So I plugged in that charge that it's. I didn't charge it. No. Well, I shouldn't say necessarily no, because he's parked in the garage this year. It was the, it was last year. Well, but then it's still next to that. So it wasn't covered up, it's still giving.
yeah,
But-
really.
So we haven't plugged it in, the first year, plugged it in, since then I haven't. It's been. So, but we shut it all down. Anyway, they're probably gonna wait till our next fiscal year. I don't remember when we leave it and you're not in the closing metric. That's a complicated issue that thing we've got. He was. Well, not that there. Well, I guess you could do one, is it connected to yeah, on it, that probably might be flat. Yeah. Like I said, this is the first year that we've gotten it back up in those sections. Dead per se, and I plugged it in.
That trail has some cost us in it, right?
No, it hasn't been. This person goes, which you don't mind. We gotta do straight. You replace the gallon with 10 grand. So that's why I'm trying to keep up paying, and that's why I'm thinking of the blue one.
Better see what it costs and what's.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a little bit more, but yeah, and like I said, I look at my supplies, but we're well, you know, I wasn't trying to pay for trade on being more usually games for the end of this year too. So just as a yes, that's.
Okay. All right, no update on town repairs. We're, he's visited 82 properties in Myrtle Hundred, Kennedy Road, West Hill, Hill Extension, Alder Meadow, and Harper's Way. He will be starting, he's been sending out numerous stations to people on Town Line and North Hollow Road. And he said that his entry rate, meaning that he can actually doesn't go and get into people's homes to look at them, it's been about 39%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked with them, I think it was just kind of, like we did it done before. It's not, so he's not pushing people right now. And then we're farther down the line, and breathing all the summertime to get new people. Yes, if you want it, to have people in my list.
But it's not gonna go back if we could get into.
He will go there if they are home. He'll leave a card. He'll wait a little while and go back to see if he can get in. He'll leave another card. And that's a lot of time that he will go there.
And then he just makes. the
And
best
then
of it.
makes his best guess.
Because he goes outside and he knows your everything.
Yeah, he can do all of those outside work. If he can, if they don't run shutters or curtains closed, he can. Those. Good.
But keeping your phone on, so.
Gotta pick the time up. Don't say about trouble.
Granville Fire Department, energy fund update, don't know any updates from Joanne. So it's anything. No updates from the planning commission. No cell tower update, except for the last meeting for things were stalled. We heard anything more?
Why is it still?
Something to do with a conservation easement for, I don't know. No,
They didn't want to be good.
I didn't want to participate, they found out, so now they're going after it.
No Maryland, so what the on website, we have anything to share there. Most mechanic.
Well, machine update. Anyways, I said a couple of them, yeah, meet with Rita, like person. The other job, they have no people, north with excavation. They're gonna call me and let me know when they're gonna get started on that. They're gonna meet with me again when they get started. The culvert on all of what's falling, the frost that lifted it up. And that's a bit head over me. The water, so there was a hole that beside the culvert across the road.
Flash the title.
Yeah. So I got repaired. What else? Talked briefly with Jeff Taylor. And he was supposed to be making another payment on his invoice from the company. So what he wants to do is he's gonna make a payment. He's still. I meant that we bought like gravel, but he has more than our plan. It's about 220. Which I think we should go get it and use it. We have some spots that need to be fixed and need to be done for.
It's not much.
It's like, which I found another cord. Thanks. In the bottom of 4G was to learn. And I could use probably use to in the town. We have multiple pieces you want to do their meetings. All it's for now is back and whatever. Like he wants. Well, he wants to wear. And then there's another process. I think it needs some back up a little bit widening. I think we should go get the ground, what is it up?
He's down $4,600 and he's still those people left.
Was that it's all over the NCNS bill 2,300 or something. And that
We were the financial responsibility.
and that was never agreed, you know, I mean, but Ken didn't get more gravel out because if he thought we automatically bought them. Would have to be 2,000, you know? It's not useful, but, I mean, if you really can use it, not just appease it, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I can do, it.
Maybe use it, no problem.
Okay. Right,
So do we have any, is there any liability to the town if we use their gravel?
So,
No.
if you've got places to use it, then, you know, that's where I'm finding.
We
As
just
long as
need to,
it's on the ground, you don't take any more out. It's will be, we can't take any more out. That's what I'm saying, the problem that he is with a.
Right.
That's what I'm concerned about. And so you're saying that the invoice I mailed up this week saying you still owe around $4,600. And he's saying that we owe him from the ceiling, it's going to wash it out. No,
no, it's not.
no, he still owes.
We need to pay the difference
Yeah,
between them.
yeah, and I
And then it's got to pay when, you know, he owes us less. An invoice we never agreed to, but if they like us to do. The user stuff that want to pay for me.
yeah, I would, if the town didn't involve in finance service for the time that we said we didn't want the gravel. And we could watch $2,700 of it, I'd be okay with that, and it isn't, but, I just want to make sure that we're okay. One, accessing his property to get the gravel.
That's gravel, taking that when we have permission. Yeah.
How much we get that out? I still think that we only have 200 yards for that. We're trying to put 30,000 yards out. We get it going ahead like.
Come in, another keeps keeping up.
Well, that's what he said, that's, you know, what I'm going to you went great.
That road. Big grant.
So that's your just.
What about, because it's not, yeah. So we can't use it on any projects that have grant. If we were to get it, where would we store it? Would we
That would be-
keep it as needed?
I would use it as needed,
So,
but I mean, it's for
repeated access to the property, is there like, repeated access to the, there's liability and he's willing to charge people on stuff there. Yeah, so will he charge for rent of the space?
well,
If we have issues, if we access the property, like. Does he have a, if there's a point right now where there's,
it would be good to get it over there. But we don't really have any place to put it
yeah,
and put it in any line. Makes more sense to get it out and use it on.
we have a
Yeah, sure,
project
use
to
it.
put that much out. We have a project that we can't do.
You got your stuff down there too, right?
Yeah, I have no less.
You got to agree with your stuff, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's your personal, that's his personal business stuff. But Kelly, you as selectman shared your call, Jeff. Have a conversation. We'll call Jeff and have a conversation, because that way it's a chat is not.
He's charging people for their stuff there.
There's light roll out there now,
No.
Mike still got stuff down
Yeah,
there.
but Mike and where too. Oh,
I think
you have,
Yeah.
you have to do. And,
There's some other guy.
So we have the rent space for the shop.
There's somebody in the building with Steven.
Yeah. Use the letter, tell you.
Even
Then the computer, massive help. You know, if
Yep.
stuff is fine,
Yep.
but all, years ago, we took that dam out. And they built it right back. And I think what we need to do is more of a bank, let the load of the there. And raise the sheet now.
Somebody got with the beaver. For after.
Yeah, we know that, we know we had.
Work come on.
Okay, well. Okay, well, but I don't think. I don't think if we just try to destroy that dam, we're gonna come right back. But, it is good flood control, on those beaver dams. So,
That road there.
it's still 50 years ago,
We can use from. Not too there. Just eight.
they put some big stone wrap along the edge.
And there's a few bigger things. We're having already. The lock on the stuff, that's which is big, long, you know, most members to the farm.
Yep.
So.
But you have pretty big holes there by the pole.
Really, nobody doesn't happen. The same, I'm just going on.
Right.
You gotta know. Well, I think the behavior.
I think it's something as a little, just a little bit of the. Yes.
Well, no, they don't think like. No, I think I, yeah, the solution to that is, I think we just. Take that part of the whole go away. Yeah, 100, you know, why still. Where the culvert needs to be changed by road boards, so. Wow. It's my last time I rated it last. Because my installs like that, they come to taking up. So up from there.
Well, the stones are pulled out of Western Hill too, that end was. Put in the 60s or whatever, they just buried everything.
Yeah.
Your grading pulls out oxygen. You're good to build that up there.
Okay. Well, I guess next up, I'll call Jeff. Want to just make sure that. He's open to some kind of seven.
Good luck about what you stay there.
But. No, I know, you can work off of that, I just wanna, there's one more info, you know.
Yep.
Well, I say the resolution.
Oh. So, just starting on. Yeah, you know, that's.
But you can have a home too. How low are they?
Well.
How much longer do you have to
Done.
No, go ahead.
I guess I will go. I had been in contact with Ken Riley about. Mowing the roads. They had. That's days ago, but I talked to him this way. Usually he puts us on the schedule and does us, who does that. He's already over here. With 40 minutes. Put him on the board. Yes. I think. What we paid him last year, $7,000 or $8,000.
Like that, and that's the time one from bathrooms.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. That was me, John.
How often?
That's one.
It's located. It's like one.
Great, as of right now, when he's right from the. So we have those 6 feet in. You know, it's taking up notes.
Um.
Yeah, I couldn't. Sure, one about me. I haven't talked to John, but they were supposed to be at some point to, for the probably stage.
Vinegar.
I don't know. Maybe if not,
That's what's primarily used to.
vinegar.
Yeah.
Well, they also use glyphosate and, you know, all these fields that there's next to farming the plant and corn.
Yeah.
Which it's recommended, people not real understanding that, you know, but, the cows see that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's why glyphosate breaks down in 2 days. You don't want to get it on, breaks in 2 days.
Because I shall never be in the moves. It's not a little balance.
Well, but up in Waitsfield there, we have like goats, they have eating them, and then they also did like obviously they do everything with vinegar. Mix.
And they plant it, it's the trees.
Yeah.
The yards.
Yeah, we need so they, yeah, like I said, I think it's a good spot for it, we'd be a great spot for it. Yes.
Where are we gonna keep the goals? Garage.
Yeah. Yeah. They go big.
The ones, the houses are free.
No,
So that's, you just get your own.
Yeah.
Or sheep or whatever, goats, I guess, right?
yeah, that's up there.
Right? It's like something.
So when you hear you get spots, they're not from the roof, when you're right, you know, get it. So I mean, if we could get all the way up to West Hill. Jesse was like, he went out looking the other day and he's like, surprised because there's nothing all the way up there, like it makes its way, I mean, it just roots and
That's what
things.
it's gonna be according.
If we were to,
They planted stuff where I can be bagging for the porch. That's what the plan was. So that's a little behind you.
yeah, well, if we could get it, I mean, this, if we were to eradicate it here. We're upstream, so it wouldn't. Supposedly, it would take a long time for it to come back, and as long as we started, I think that's what the matter we're standing there at the top of the river, so they're able to. Not have the river spread that down.
I cut about probably a quarter acre of knotweed with a lawnmower every week to 5 years before it was no long money. And, you know, that's the only thing really without really harsh heat. But you can't dig it up.
No.
It's kind of huge, runs on one,
Yeah.
you break off a little root, it's come right down.
They started something up here by the bridge. I think it's
Yeah, it's from,
No, they're out there in the God's mouth, the like soup.
very good for the.
Well, what you tell me is how there was.
Elman guy. The interest.
It's just, it's all around.
okay, we.
If I had that, I would roll it. Nothing else.
Any other comments or public communication?
When are you gonna get gravel? This is like this.
Nothing.
So then that all,
We got a. Take them from the. Right for us. And I ended up going back to. Each month. And then I tried to get, I got their prices, which is a little. Significant. And he does that, I grab one of these, the machine, and just bump them.
do they, will they truck the too, they bring the big trucks?
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about, this truck serves 128 hours, says, and. Which,
How many yards? The 18, 20, like. They used to big papers or no?
Well, it seems like a little different.
Says you chopped all the meeting.
I have this. So, if you didn't have a price for that, where we have. Time,
The meeting 144. And, the hand up was 130.
So it's more,
Which is short distance at first.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, was,
It was reasonable.
it was a short distance, I went behind.
oh, was.
And talked to you. Jim, for all of the. I have not. I did have a conversation with Chanel. You're running balance and anyway, if you want to buy it, then it's still. Whatever you need us to do that. That, so.
They are coordinated all the shame. Coordinated all the shame. Really.
So we're not getting that this month.
So that's another 30,045 will go to the highway capital. So the wins.
It's 19,000.
Look, so it's all I can see it on. Exactly, knowledge of that's the good news yet. Well, that's how much you stay, if it's 39,000.
But,
You spend 10,000 on gravel, want to do this. And you got $50,000 budget.
That's right, if you look at the bottom line, it's
Get a lot of line.
it's 19, well,
29, right? The roads,
yeah, I mean,
pretty small,
promos. Yeah. For
But in here, you can't really look at it because you got the separate line item for structuring now too. We can have trucking is different. Thing to do. That used to be right in the gravel, but.
Yeah, it all scooped up and scooped into the ground of the bunch. On 10 days.
Right.
Things get pulled out, you would think he's.
Well, makes sense.
anything else on the good? No? No? You're not good?
For me, emotion.
One second, I'm going. Thank you.
Or we got work schedule for the sheriff's department. First 3 days are the town of Orange.